But you said men desire, or it's irresistible for a man to have a woman who brings peace.
Yes.
While we're on this conversation, we're not really on it, but I'm going back to it, around the depression, the mental health. I've been having conversations with my friends about how draining it can be to even be friends with someone who's like always going through something, not even from a dramatic place, but maybe from a depressed place. How do men look at that? Like, is that like a red flag? I don't want to deal with it, or is it something that can be worked on? Because this day and age, we're all going through something. It really just depends on how you express it, how you deal with it. So is that something that could mean you're not bringing peace?
Yes. Absolutely. I think, and this is where, again, a lot of women get tripped up. So there are women that I've seen or I've heard of through other men's experiences that are very emotionally selfish. And so when they're going through something, and yeah, it's always something. All right? And when we say it's always something, is because they may have a struggle with constantly internalizing things that come into their life. They're maybe overthinkers to the point where they drive themselves crazy, and now that pours over to the man that has to deal with them. And he's constantly in this crisis mode for her, constantly trying to help her calm down. So yes, it drains them. And yes, that is not bringing peace to a relationship. He doesn't want to have to come home to that. It's not that he has an issue with helping you. I think if the man loves you, he wants to be your rock. He wants to be the one that you can lean on and count on. But it gets to a point where it's like, come on now. And I think what also has to be considered is, okay, because sometimes women just want to vent. They're not really looking for a problem to be solved.
We don't want a solution. Just
exactly.
Listen.
But to that man, because he's wired to solve, at some point it's like, okay, we can't keep talking about this all day. We can't, because now, yes, you're draining me. And now if we're spending so much energy always dealing with these different issues, where's the energy I need for us to love on each other? Where's the energy for us to laugh and enjoy life? It's being robbed by these situations. So yes, that's definitely one side of not bringing peace to a relationship. So
the concept of a man needing to feel needed, that ain't what y'all mean. Not in that way.
Well, listen, so we want to feel needed in the sense that a person wants to feel valued. So look at it from a sports perspective. Some people will look at a guy playing in the NBA that sits the bench and says, oh, he should be happy. He's getting paid millions of dollars. But for some
it's me.
But for some of those dudes, it still hurts because they want to feel valued on the team. They want to feel like they're a part of the success. They're contributing. That's it. It's just a natural desire, I think, for people in general, but especially I think even for men, that, yeah, you want to feel like you're a valuable piece here and that you're respected in that way. Not that I had this conversation the other day with someone. I do think it's better for us to want someone, not need them. All right. I think ultimately we should learn how to not need anyone but God. All right. But we should have a strong desire for them, and we should still be able to celebrate and show how they're valuable to us. So I may not need you, but you have value here. All right. And I think that's what men want from their woman.
Okay, so I totally went off on a tangent when you started talking about men being lonely. So you really only got one irresistible quality out. Are there other irresistible qualities besides a woman bringing peace?
So I'm always the say things that come to mind first. All right, what came to mind next was cooking. Now don't make that face.
Interview over. Shut it down. Because what? This is not in any order, though.
It's not any order, no. And I told you, I just said what comes to mind sometimes. I don't like to overthink these things. I like to just
my
be
husband is
genuine.
not watching this. Don't make him question his decisions.
Now listen, don't get me wrong. It's not that cooking is a necessity for every man, all right? And it's not that it's a deal breaker for every man. But I think that for most men, it is a very desirable quality, or is a very attractive quality. More specifically, a woman who knows how. Because one thing to cook.
I'm about to say, you just
know how to cook.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be good.
It needs to taste good.
Okay.
All right? And actually enjoy doing it. You know what I'm saying?
And I have to like it. Now these are outrageous standards.
Listen. Here's the thing.
Be good and enjoy, smile while I'm doing it.
I'm going to say that I'm throwing in the like it part because I feel that if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be able to sustain it.
Okay.
You have to find some kind of joy in it. Yes. So I think that's an important piece of the puzzle if you're going to be good at it as well. Okay. It's really hard to be good at something that you don't care for.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I do think that, yes, I've even told women in my membership group, yo, sometimes post the food that you cook and make it look nice. Watch how men will
let
slide
that be
in
your
your
thirst
DMs.
trap.
Yes,
Let that be your thirst trap.
And it works. It works. When men see that, it's like that's another, especially in today's world where it's less prevalent than it used to be. So now that immediately stands out, and a lot of guys value that. Again, there are some men, I know men personally, they're the cooks in the household. They love to cook. They don't care about a woman cooking. But I think that in general, most men would agree that yes, a woman knowing how to cook is
what if she signed up for 2 cooking classes this month, like me? Does she? What happens
She need
then?
to go back to the
She
third.
goes, look, I'm just saying. Is it the, if you don't have that, is it the effort that you're willing to work on it? Does that matter? Or we're talking about irresistible, so I guess you need to come with these things.
I think it depends on the man. But look at it like this, and this is what's kind of hitting my spirit right now. Both sides, men and women, have to figure out how to fortify the home, how to make the home the desirable place to be, all right? So when you're a man and you know you have a woman at home that can make a good cooked meal, that can love on you, that can do all these things, that makes you want to be home. You wanting to be home strengthens the relationship, strengthens the quality time. All these things add to the overall quality of the relationship. Because now, if I don't have someone at home that can do that for me, well, I may have to go outside the house to go get some food. Not that it's a big deal, but I'm just giving you a small glimpse as to how that takes away from something else that can bring us together even more. So I just think it's a very valuable tool to have in your toolbox as a woman.
So being responsible, making sure that he eats is not enough. You have to be preparing the meal.
Again, it depends on the man. Okay. Every man does not agree on this. I do think if we polled the men, most would say yes, they want the cooking.
Because that's their mama. It's because of their mama though, Stephan. You don't think so? You don't think so?
Because listen, who doesn't like a good cooked meal?
People who don't like to cook. Okay, next. What's next? So she brings peace. She brings a good plate. What else she got to bring?
All right, so the next one that came to mind is, and let me just make sure I give the disclaimer, all right?
Give all the disclaimers, okay?
So let me first say what it is, sexual fulfillment.
Okay.
All right? And we got to dive into that in a second. But disclaimer, I'm not saying for women, because I know there are believers out there who, hold on to waiting till marriage, and I'm cool with that, and I think abstinence is a great thing, but I also recognize plenty of people aren't waiting that long. Plenty of people are engaging sexually before that time. And I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying let's talk about it. Fulfillment sexually is extreme. Like that to me plays one of the biggest roles we can think of for a man. Because I think that one of the things that I think women overlook is that they think just having sex with the man is enough. And a lot of women feel like they're all good in bed. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful or to make anyone's feelings be hurt, but the reality is that some women are not where they think they are. Honestly,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
And more specifically, they're not where they think they are when it comes to what that man specifically desires and needs, all right? And so what happens to a lot of people, men and women, is when they engage sexually, they basically bring their resume to the bedroom and think that because whoever else before that person thought it was amazing, that automatically this should be amazing for you. And now when you don't find it amazing, something's wrong with you, not in their approach to it. And they become less open-minded to, no, you have to learn your partner. And again, I stress, this happens to, of course, men as well. You can't go into that situation thinking, oh, because
what worked last time is gonna work this time.
It doesn't work that way. So, and you got to go deeper than just, I'm engaging in the act, because everyone has their little different things that they like of how it's done and the moods and all these different things. And when you can, I argue that if you have two people truly sexually fulfilling each other amongst all the other things that need to be there, they ain't going nowhere. Because that's not as easy to find as people think. Most situations are involving individuals who are not satisfied, who are not fulfilled, but have found other reasons to validate staying in that relationship.
So let me just run it back for myself.
Run it back.
Not only do you have to cook, you got to be happy and skipping and while you're cooking. Not only do you have to have sex, but it got to be mind-blowing. It got to be mind-blowing sex. Just doing the act is not good enough. These standards, y'all, are like.
But wait a minute.
This is irresistible. This is like top tier.
Exactly. That's number one. We're talking about irresistible. But number two, would you want a man who doesn't aim for blowing your mind in the bedroom?
Every time. I'm tired. So yes, me personally.
Listen, I don't think anyone.
I'm not gonna leave my man because no.
No, I don't think. See, that's the thing. I'm not saying 100%. You got to be 10 for 10, 100 for 100. Every time you walk in that bedroom, it has to be the most amazing thing he ever had. But you have to show a willingness and ability to do the things that he likes. And that's why I think it's important as adults that we have these conversations before we even get to that point. So we understand, because if what he likes crosses a line that you're comfortable with, I'm not telling you to cross that line. Yeah, we just need to agree we're not for each other. But you need to be aware of what it is, as he needs to be aware of what it is for you. Because it doesn't, because again, when we're talking about trying to have, not just being irresistible, but trying to have a long-term, healthy, successful relationship, hopefully marriage, then we have to figure out how we can sustain and fortify all areas of the relationship, and sexually is just one of them.
I saw a TikTok video, or maybe it was on Instagram, but a video that said, like, the question popped up and it's like, how many times a month does a man need to have sex? And the answer was 27. And I'm just like, are y'all kidding me? Who came up with this statistic? How are I just feel like there are so many unrealistic. That's literally like every day. Listen, what is happening?
And that's why it's important that when people are listening to this conversation, they understand the real point here is to figure out what your partner's desires and needs are, not the general population. Because yes, you may hear the general population say something that I think even 27 is ridiculous, okay? However, there might be a guy who agrees with that. There might be a guy who says, man, just give me 10 times a month and I'm happy. Some guys may need less, some guys may need, it's gonna vary. The key is figuring out, what does this person look for? Can I do this and can I sustain this? Not can I deal with this for a month?
Yeah, can I do this one time? No, you gotta keep doing it.
Exactly, because nobody wants to get the good stuff and then you take it away. That's even more frustrating, because it's like now they know you're capable, but you're just not doing it. Now they're wondering, okay, are you just trying to be resentful? Are you trying to be, if you're playing games, if there's an issue, whatever the case may be, that can create a lot more problems. So bottom line is, you want to just figure out what they need, and as well as you expressing to them what it is that you need and you desire.
All right, so she bringing peace, she bringing plates, she's bringing another P. What else she got to bring? What else? What's anything else on the list?
I think maintaining attraction.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, break that down.
Now, notice I said maintaining attraction. I didn't say maintaining a certain look.
Right.
All right, because what men like is going to differ. I think one of the traps that people fall into when they hear relationship advice is they apply everything to everyone. You can't do that. There's going to be variations. So it's all about, what does he like, and can you stay in the vicinity of that? All right, because I understand. I think everyone's reasonable enough to say there's going to be some changes here and there's going to be some variations, but some people are going way beyond that. And then they can't understand why the relationship is going left. I'll give you one quick story. There was a woman who reached out to me. She was married, I want to say 10 years, maybe less. Either way, she gains 100 pounds in the marriage. He stops having sex with her. They start fighting. It gets out of hand. They get separated. In their separation, she ends up finding motivation now. I'm going to show him what he's missing. Loses the 100 pounds. He ends up coming back around. They end up sleeping together. They're starting to work things out. What does she do? Gained 100 pounds back.
Shut up.
Yes.
What did she do? Never mind. That ain't my business. That's not my business. That's not my business.
And so,
what was her question to you, Stephan?
I don't even remember. I think I was so shocked by the story at the time.
Yeah, because gaining 100 pounds and losing that, neither one of those are easy.
I think her question is, why is how you look so important to men? Why is that such an issue?
Now, ma'am.
But listen,
100 pounds. That's excessive.
But that's the thing. There are a lot of women out there who feel like you should love me for me. And what I try to explain to women is, love and attraction is two different things. He can still love you, but he's struggling to be attracted to you. And if he can't be attracted to you, he will struggle to be in a romantic relationship with you. See, I can love you from afar. I can love you and care about you and want the best for you. But to be able to stay committed, pour into you, be present, that attraction is necessary. And the reality is that, again, it is important to women too, but women are more willing to give leeway for various reasons. Yeah. Not all genuine good ones, right? But for various reasons, women are willing to give more leeway than a man. But here's the thing that a lot of women overlook. Though she may be less likely to leave, it is still impacting how she behaves or how she interacts with him.
So she might start treating him bad or something.
She may not be talking to him the way she used to talk to him. She's not intimate with him the way she used to be intimate with him. So the relationship is still deteriorating no matter which way you go with this.
I think women are much more lenient. I think women are much less driven by only physical things than men are.
Yes, because there's a lot of other things that women can find attractive. And again, this is why we go back to maintaining attraction. What maintains attraction for a woman is not what maintains attraction for a man. For the man, it's going to be more of the physical, all right? For the woman, it's going to be more leaning towards the emotional as far as how he's treating her, how he's pouring into her. If she's getting all those things from him, it's easier for her to be okay with the changes. Easier, but doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it doesn't impact a lot of women out there. Another example, I had another woman who told me she married a man. He actually had locks, long locks, and she loved locks.
I knew he was gonna get into the hair. Right? I knew it.
And one day, this man came home, locks gone.
He's a whole new man.
Yeah, and she was so disgusted. She was disgusted. She was so, even when she told me the story, so much frustration and anger came out of her. She hated it. And it completely ruined how they were she didn't want to sleep with him the same anymore. She wasn't attracted to him anymore. And she was mad that he did that without telling her. You know what I'm saying? And so,
what was your advice?
I mean, we didn't
really just be so shocked by these things.
No, because in that situation, I didn't really have time to talk. Like, it was like in passing. She gave me a quick story. I didn't really get a chance to counsel her, so to speak. But to me, this is why I'm a believer in, any kind of significant physical changes have to be discussed in advance. You can't just pop them up on people.
Discuss or like getting permission.
When married, I do think there's a level of, I don't want to use the word permission, but we need to come to an agreement.
I want to cut my hair. You don't want me to. What is the agreement? Get a bob. What is the agreement?
And that's why it's tough.
Get a wig.
This is one of,
Some men don't want you to wear a wig. Some men don't want you to have braids. Some men don't. I'm not
going to lie to you. This is one of those tough ones that are tricky for me because I know how sensitive some people are when it comes to their hair. But I do think that, I'll say this. I think that in the vast majority of situations where there's a real connection, the two love each other, both are going to be more flexible with each other than they would be with other people when it comes to certain things. So where that man may have told another woman he would never go for this kind of hairstyle, he's going to be more willing with his wife that he truly loves. You know what I'm saying? So I think a discussion is a way that it can be done. I think also there's going to be more of a willingness to say, all right, we'll try this out for a few months. But if I don't like it after a few months, we got to go back. It's almost like the man who has a beard wants to cut off his beard. I've heard this story many times too. And the wife might be like, all right, we can try it for a little bit, but if I don't like it, grow it back. Same thing. It's the same thing.
I've literally heard a man say like he broke up with somebody because she shaved all her hair off. Like all the way off.
Some men are and that's the thing. And this is again why I think you need to have discussions, because there are some men who are very particular about stuff like that. And
very petty about
and I think it depends on how much of a difference. Are we going from long flowing hair to bald? That's a huge difference rather than, I'm gonna cut it a couple inches. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm changing the color of it. So I think it really depends on how extreme is the change. But I do think we can't just think, let me just do what I want because it's my hair, my body. When you're married, I think you have to have that discussion.
Pause. Because there was an episode of The Real Housewives, right? I don't really be into it, but I be a little into it. And one of the wives, her husband wants to have another baby. She's like, I don't want to have another baby. Like, I'm just now getting this baby up and rolling, and you weren't that helpful with this first baby, so no, I'm not going to do that again. One of the other wives literally says to her, well, you're his wife. That's your responsibility to have his baby. And if you ain't going to have it, somebody else will. What is that? Because when you just said it's my body, my choice, I feel like this, of course, is something, I don't know if there's a compromise in that situation, but this is obviously a conversation we should have. But are you really going to tell me like our marriage is over if I don't give you another baby? Because I don't feel like I obligated to have another child because you want another child.
So I think there's a few layers to this. I think one, whenever there's resistance on having more children, we have to go to the root of the issue. What's the real problem here?
He wasn't helpful.
Exactly. That's the real issue. So we have to now discuss, can we fix that? Because in fixing that, she may be willing to change her mind. She may see things differently. I'll flip it on you. I've had situations where the woman wants to have another child. The man is resistant. His issue was, you barely show me attention now. I don't get any of your time, and you want me to add another kid to the mix?
Y'all are selfish.
And now I can't. But what do you mean selfish? Like, he's already being neglected.
My child.
Listen,
who's gonna take it? You take care of the baby, then I'll show you all the attention you want.
And this is why, again, as individuals in a relationship, we have to be on the same page on how we're going to manage things to where everyone can get what they need.
But those are things that you can't talk about in advance because you don't know until it comes up.
I think
everybody's gonna say they're gonna be a great parent.
No, but I think there's certain principles that we can discuss. So for example, I think that some people have babies and they make the child the number one priority.
Absolutely not. But yes, some people do that.
Some people do that, and I believe that's absolutely wrong. And I think people who argue that, they're looking at it the wrong way. You have to keep a certain order in your household.
Agreed.
It all trickles down when you do. I've never seen happy, genuinely happy, healthy parents with unhappy children. You don't see that. But I've seen plenty of unhappy parents with a dysfunctional household and unhappy children.
Yeah.
So if you take care of the top, it starts to go to the bottom. No man who loves you or woman who loves you and they're getting what they need is going to neglect their kids now. And if that ever happens, because there's exceptions to every rule, okay, we got a whole different issue to address. But in most cases, taking care of the spouse,
each other
is going to help everything else fall into place, as well as establishing to the children that there's a level of respect they need to have. Like, some of these kids feel like they got more power than the other parent.
Daddy. Yep.
Yeah, that's a problem. Facts. And now that he doesn't get the respect that he needs, not only from his partner, but from his kids too. And that's a whole nother issue right there. So I don't think it's as simple as, oh, you're his wife, so you're supposed to have his baby, end of story. I think it's, let's discuss on a deeper level, why is there resistance here? What is the real issue? You know what I'm saying? For some women, it may be, I don't want to do that to my body again. You know what I'm saying? Okay, are there compromises to that? So going back to him not being helpful enough, are there compromises that he can make to be more helpful or to put forth a structure that makes sure she doesn't get overwhelmed and overburdened by having an additional child and he's not doing his part?
Okay. So my body, my life, is that applicable in marriages? Final answer.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple.
The answer is yes, Stephan. No, it is your body, your life, but we're going to talk about it.
I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, I'm never going to tell someone to, like, just give up their rights because they're married or whatever. But I don't want people jumping straight to my body, my... No, you have to have a discussion with you have to at least attempt to see, can we work this out? And yes, if we can't, then maybe we have to accept we've either grown apart or we're in the wrong relationship. We've always been
no, because we already got this one baby, so we ain't in the wrong relationship.
See, and that's the problem. So now, let's talk about that for a second. Let's say he wants the baby. No, let's flip it. She wants the baby. He refuses to have the baby. In most cases, and he could say, hey, it's my body too. I don't want to put myself through that. I don't want to have to contribute to what's now going to wear me down or wear down my pockets, because this is very expensive, all right? I don't want to deal with what comes with an extra child. If they don't come to a place of understanding with each other, she's going to hold on to resentment.
Yes.
That resentment is going to turn into, she's going to be less affectionate with him, less intimate with him. Now he gets pissed at her. Now that turns into other. Do you see how now we're just going to domino effect into this whole thing blowing up in our faces?
Yep.
So why do we think it is better to go down the path of dysfunction than just to agree right now, we've clearly gone in a different direction, we're not happy anymore, or we're not...
Let's get a divorce?
What's the other option?
I'm not having a baby. Shit. We gonna take care of this.
I just told you what happens in that situation.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad this ain't my house, Lord.
And listen, and I'm not saying I want people to get a divorce. It is.
That is tricky.
But again, if my thing is this, if you cannot find resolution, and resolution just means we come to so whether that understanding is we both got to a place of having the baby, both got to a place of not having the baby, you know, there's some kind of understanding. We're not holding on to anything negative here. That's the key. But if moving forward, because one side did not get what they wanted, they're gonna hold on to resentment and negativity, we just set ourselves up for our demise anyway. It's going downhill from there regardless.
Who, that is tough, because some things, is there a compromise?
And let me tell you, and now it'll get even uglier going down that path than it would have just saying, you know what, maybe we've reached a point that we have to go our separate ways.